Wait. I'm stupid. I'm forgetting things. Right. Should we swap that for the effort? We'll swap that for the effort. That was what I forgot. I forgot that line. Which is also why I wanted the batteries earlier today, TJ. Also, what is the top of this doing? $90 stream streak, TJ. Get it. Also, the fact that the button for this is on the back of the head and not the back of the foot annoys me. I don't know why. It's just something that's really dark. He's a pretty pumpkin. Hi, pumpkin. How we doing? That's that. Okay. It's really streaming now currently. Oh, hi, Erica. You want to say hi? No? Okay. Oh. Oh, and I didn't turn down music. So you've probably not been able to hear a word. Alright. There we go. Yeah. It's because I got distracted because I realised I didn't switch a light thingy on over there. And then there was a bit of like foliage. When I say foliage, I don't mean real foliage. I mean fake foliage. That was like sticking in frame and confused me, and it looked like a crack in the wall, but it's not a crack in the wall. Sorry, I'm getting really distracted by this curl that's just in front of my face. It looks really cool, and it's very character designy. But it's also confusing me, because it's more of a wiggle than a curl. Ooh. Tomorrow. I'm excited. By the way, chat, if you don't know, we'll be taking part in something called Brass Guard, which is run by the lovely Luna Cupcake. It's a project that they created during their Build for Better event that they did last month, I think it was. There was a total of 4 days, and they built this entire like Minecraft dungeon scenario that's really cool. And it's so cool. I'm so excited. I can't wait. And also, I'll be on a team with the lovely Sunraven And who else? Who else? I'm very excited to play with everyone. Who else? Full team roster is Elven Dragon and MS as well, who, if you have been in Raven's chats, you will have seen. But yeah, I'm excited. It's like a month-long server, and there's lots of stuff. I need to do a proper announcement post, but I'm kind of not sure I'll have time, which is annoying. I'll be able to do one in my Discord, but I don't know if I'll be able to do one in on like Instagram until I thingy. It's okay. So you know Decked Out TJ. It's basically like a decked out server. So you do the dungeon runs, you've got to collect relics and stuff, and it's steampunky. So we're gonna get a steampunk wabbit, and it's so cool. And I'm on Team Blue. We're on the blue team. So the skin will have blue in it as well. A bit like, well, not like Misadventures. It's closer to, from my understanding, it's closer to Decked Out than Misadventures, because it's all sort of enclosed in one like massive build. I will be sharing the like about video. I think, is that an about video, or is that a hey, this is information for you guys video? Okay, I think that's a public video. I think that's a proper public video. So I'll be sharing that in the Discord at some point, which if you want to join it, you should join it. But I'm very excited. I'm very excited to get playing on it. And I'm very excited for my skin. I don't know when first people's playing on it will be from my team. I think all of us aren't available on the first day, but it's a month long. So it'll be fine. It'll be fun. We'll have lots of fun. I'm gonna call it now. We are going to place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there's 11 teams. Very handy there, TJ. Rolling a 11 as we go through the teams. Well, not go through the teams, but thinking it. I'm gonna call it now. We are gonna come 4th. I'm gonna say we're gonna come 4th. And if we don't come 4th, we're coming 1st. Gonna call it now. Gonna leave it at that. But yeah. It's 11 teams. 11 teams total. And I'm gonna say we're gonna come 4th, which I think is very reasonable. Also, because I had like a couple of weeks off streaming, I keep forgetting to post my pre-going live post like 3 hours before stream, because apparently that's the meta for like Instagram stories and stuff. You want to post 3 hours before you actually go live to be like, hey, I'm gonna go live. And I keep forgetting to do that. So it's great. It's great. Oh, but also more updates. We have switched from Linktree to Card, because I found out that Linktree is doing the kind of stuff with AI that we don't like. So I'm still leaving my Linktree up, because I do have quite a few business cards out that have my QR code on the back, and it's a static QR code. so I can't change it. But otherwise I would change it to the card and that'd be fine. So at some point after these business cards I've got run out, I'm probably going to order some more. But I might order some more. I'll order some different ones. That's for sure. Because I think, as far as I can tell, the QR code I've got is static, and it's either static or I don't have access to change it anymore, which sucks. But I needed to cancel my Adobe subscription because it was expensive. But yeah, we've swapped over the card, and now it's all pretty. I can actually show you it as well. So it looks. Let me just move myself half off screen for a bit. Actually, down here it'll work. So I've decided I'm going to lean more into the post-it thing. I do need to have a fiddle about with it, maybe make it fit colours a bit better. We've got it so it'll take to my socials, and this is sort of what it likes, what it looks like, and like a bit of description. It's got my 2 Discords that I run, so it's got the Minecraft creator Discord. So if you're a creator and you wanna, if you're like in Minecraft creative and you want to do that, you can join that. And as well, this isn't really one that should go on my thing, but if you are a streamer, you can join Molly's stream Discord, where I am a mod as well. And then we can go back to intro. We can do a thing about collabs as well. So it's got, hey, if you're like also a creator, message me on my socials, or if you're a brand or developer, to message me on my email. And then as well, it's got my media kit, which I think this is the first time you guys will have seen this. I don't think I've shown this on stream before. It's also not accurate. I really need to update this. I also want to have a fiddle about with it, because again, I'm wanting to lean more into the post-it style. I might not necessarily do that for this, but obviously we want it to all be very legible, but we also want it to be like brand consistent. But yeah, I'm super happy with how the card turned out. It's also insanely customizable, and it looks so much better than a Linktree. It looks so much better. So I'm very happy that I made the switch. It also, like, it fits like Creator Wabbit a lot better. Also, I really like that, but I feel like he's too bright. And now it's changing colour. I like how it changes colour. I've never actually stuck those two on. I've had both of them for over a year. Well over a year. Everything else is bright. Yeah, this is true. Everything else is very bright. Let me see if I can make things a bit better. Oh, make things a bit better. Just turn off the sun. That'll make things better. Yeah, it does look a bit better. It does look a bit better. And yeah, when I stream in winter, it will be a lot better. I also want to get like either a roller blind or something, because I'd still like the cats to have access to the window. But I also need that blocking off fully. And it's kind of annoying when light comes through in the little gap between the curtain and the wall. as well, another tiny change. If you're a mod or a VIP and you do !C, you can do a fancy clip that I can then edit later, and it's really cool. And I need to just do it. I need to edit clips so much more than I actually do because I'm atrocious at it. Oh yeah, and you also get cool points. Also, I don't know why it's holding the $sign in front. I don't think it should be. But it also explains it as well. I'm quite happy with how that turned out. Oh. I really like replay buffer. Replay buffer's handy. Alright, should we hop in and do some Minecraft? I need to double check what save this needs to be on. I think it's this one. I think it's that one. Okay. Oh, it's really up. Modern. As well, it was Luna Client. A lot of people said was very good. Alright. Right. That $sign is really annoying me. Why is that annoying me so much? 1 second, if I do. Okay, I need to double check what my special identifiers are. Ah. Is it that? Then where's replay buffer? That's fine. Okay, that's fine. I mistyped when I did it. I put a $sign before it because I'm silly, which I feel like is very much on brand for me. Very much on brand. Let's see if that'll spin around a bit. Okay, that didn't work. I feel like I'm gonna say that didn't work a lot today. Be this one, I think. It is this one. Nice. Well, actually, maybe we should build a different one. We'll do a different one. I will also put my face back where it belongs. Want it creative. Keep commands on. Super flat. I want that off. Game rules. Zero. Where's the light cycle? Turn that all off. I don't think I need to add any data packs. I'll set it as too flat. Cool. There we go. Okay. Yeah, that's all right. No. Alright. Get time. Set. New. There you go. Just want it just a little bit brighter. Do I need to turn the brightness down on my PC so it's not, like, blasting me? Or do I need to do... No, that just makes me look horrific. Okay, we're just gonna deal with the blue sky. That's gonna be fine. Also, hello, D. Kennedy. How we doing? Right. What I want to do, I want to do something that I've previously tried to do before on PlayStation. But I feel like this is going to be a lot easier to do on PC. But since when do I do it? I don't know. It's just something that happens. It's something that happens. I don't know. The only thing I'm consistent with is streaming. Yes, pet in the mods. Let's go. Oh, wait. I'm going to have to 100% use a directional block for this, aren't I? Right, because first thing we need to do, we need to kind of work out a bit of scaling. And I think I know how I'm going to do this. Oh. Hey, that's not... Well, no, that's full name in the same way. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm kind of tired. And Minecraft is being painfully slow, but it is also a new world. That be accurate? Because I want to make things accurate for what I want to do. Some people might have worked this out. Some people might not have. I know TJ might have worked it out because I think this is something I've done before. Oh, okay. Okay. Why does it give me a measurement in liters? Okay, that's why it gives me a measurement in liters. Right, D&D square. In meters. Okay, okay. We're gonna do this the easy way. We're gonna do this the easy way. So, what we are wanting to do, I'm wanting to work out some scaling of of a D&D square. So a D&D player's cube square, which I think this is the most accurate, but it might get annoying. It might get annoying. Also, hello, Preserve Reality. How do you be doing? You having a good Friday? You having a Friday? But yeah, we're just currently trying to work out like the thing of a D&D cube, because a D&D player spot is a 5-foot square. So this is technically accurate. It's also technically bigger, but I also feel like it should be different. I also need to turn my Chrome down a little bit. I turned it down, so I wasn't hearing who I'm lurking in, but I didn't turn it down far enough. But yeah, I'm okay. I've had the days happened. The days happened. It's been kind of busy. We've got Dungeons and Dragons tomorrow, so that's kind of why I'm in the mood to like try and figure D&D squares out in Minecraft. But also, it's just been it's been busy because we've been sorting some things and, you know, doing things that you need to do before you have guests over and planning stuff, and it's ugh. And also it's going to be the exact same as last time, where I'm going to be sat on the living room floor, panic, sorting D&D stuff. But it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. There's also, near where my cat visitor's been today, there's a very cute old cat that likes to lie in the middle of the road and stress you out. So I'm having to stop my car in the middle of driving to a visit, like just around the corner from a visit, and be like, come on, old dear, get on the pavement, please, because you'll just lie stretched out in the middle of the road. And it's so stressful, but she's so sweet. She's so sweet and so spoiled. Right. Okay. This is the right rough sizing. It also, it kind of feels too small, but also if we put an armor, oh, what's gonna be the easiest way to put like a marker in there? Actually, if we do that, and then sword. Okay, no, that didn't work. That didn't work. Oh wait, so wait, do I not have this up to date? I don't have this up to date. This is not on the Silver Cube update. Dang it! I thought it was. I thought it was on the Silver Cube update. No, it's alright, Reality. I was wittering on about how there's this old cat that likes to stress me out because she lies in the middle of the road near where I got my visit, so I need to stop my car sometimes and be like, go on, go on the pavement, stop lying in the middle of the road asking to be run over. But yeah, she's very cute, she's very sweet. She's just likes to stress us out. Right, actually, we'll do a full square of this. I think the only thing that's going to be a problem with this is going to be, we're going to have to be very particular about flooring. Yeah, this cat, she does not care about the green crossroad. She watched those little hedgehog adverts and laughed. She did not see that Irish drunk driving advert. Oh, but yeah, she's very sweet. Just very does not care that she's in the middle of the road. Right. We'll get a spruce. Remember online? I don't think I ever played the online games. That's not your spell space. Alright, move on. White dye and honeycomb. Oh, probably need to make that glowing. Also, the fact that you can't make glowing from glowberries is a crime. Right. Okay. So each square is one D&D 5-foot space. Sorted. Because what I want to do with this big project is I want to basically create a scaled D&D world within Minecraft. Whether or not this is something that gets actually used for like a game or a server, I have no idea. This is just something that I really kind of want to do. And I also think it's something that'll help me like get better as a builder. Because I also want to do that. Like this is going to be like the drafts world. So this is going to be like where I'm figuring things out, where I'm playing about with builds. But yeah, I want to do a lot more creative. Well, I want to do a lot more better building than I currently do, which does mean I need to do a lot more creative building than I actually do, which is not that much creative building until very recently. But as well, I think this can be like something that lasts a decent amount of time, like quite a while. This would honestly potentially be like a life project, unless like I get insanely good at building, and then I'm just like, right, okay, cool, pop this in here, pop this in here, pop this in here. Right, I think as well we'll start with what would probably be the spawn building. So this would be the building that would be right at spawn. I think I'd go for a very sort of classic D&D starter. But what we'll do, each we'll make sure everything's sort of sorted player-wise. Or like player scale-wise, so we can like make things nice. And I also have to put in places for updates for the cushions. So I might use something like cherry planks or probably crimson slabs. I'd probably use crimson slabs for like cushion markers for like seats and stuff. Just so we've like got that handy and ready. But yeah. So well, this is going to be something that we have to start the inside out. Because we want enough space for stuff to be. We'll start with spruce or dark oak. We'll use spruce for our first floor. Right, and go here. Right, so we'll say that be the doorway, so this is the middle of the thing. Oh, night-night, Otter! Sweet dreams! Thank you for popping by and saying hi! We love you! But yeah, we're gonna want these builds to be like moderately symmetrical, but not hugely symmetrical, I think. Mwah! Mwah! It's so warm. It's too warm. I need to move the fan. Right. Okay, alright. One sec. Get a crimson pressure plate, because there's going to be no way we use that in this kind of build today. So we use crimson pressure plate as our like seat marker for now. Because we'll say this is like a bouncer spot. Or it'd be like, yeah, club bouncer. Because then everyone sort of needs to walk past them. The doors would probably actually... Would that work? I'm just trying to think, because obviously, like, in this scenario, that door opens there. But I'd say this would probably be more like a swing door? Or be more like the door would be propped open all the time. And because of like the fact that the wall will go here, let's just use tough for now. And then that'd swing out there. So I'll leave that as that for now. And then any bouncer would have like clear view. I don't know why I'm thinking of this very deliberately. But I feel like it's one of those daft little builds that can have an insane amount of thought behind it. And as well, because I'm building it with Dungeons and Dragons in mind, that's like an additional layer of thought, because I'm also thinking about how it'd run within gameplay, especially if you were like using it for like fighting and stuff. As well, I'm kind of thinking of this in more of a map situation. So it'd be a case of the player characters are basically the counters for the dungeon master. I don't know if there'd be any way to like do like the bad guys with NPCs and stuff. I feel like there would be. If you like have player characters in like adventure mode, and then probably a magma cube. I've got a big brain thought. A big brain thought for D&D in Minecraft. If we do a sulfur cube, and there be some kind of resource pack, so depending on which block you put inside a sulfur cube, it changes their shape and changes how they display. So for example, if you put mangrove wood in, you get some kind of like hag, and then that's like that character. Or like if you put in tough, you get like a stone giant or something. It'd be very interesting. I don't know if it'd be doable. You probably as well would need to scale it to some degree, so you could have what's it? Like the big and the gargantuan characters, so like Tarrasques and stuff. And I don't know if that's necessarily possible, or if you'd need to just shrink it down and pretend. I feel like there is a way to change sizes with resource packs. I should ask one of the smart people I know if there's a way to do that. I think there is. Alright, we can get out of that mode now. Okay, so do we do this as a big tavern or a smaller tavern? Meat. Thanks, teacher. That's great. Medium tavern. If we get that. Actually, no, we'll get Dark Oak and Dark Oak. So say this is like the bartender's table, and that's them taking up all that space. Okay, I think this is actually a good scale. I think this is a good scale because you've got one player in each box if they're sitting at these tables. But it's also... Actually, one sec. Carpet. That makes so much more sense. So yeah, so this is like... Actually... Go for brown. I want that bending too much. No, that's alright. Because, well, I'm trying to think of what is a good reasonable bar layout as well for like a tavern, and like what would make sense. In fact, that's gonna be too close. Would that be? Right, do that. And do that. And do that. That gives us 3 tables so far. As well, do we think this should necessarily be... it needs to be functionally walk-aroundable. Right. I think I know what I'm doing. Do this line first. TJ, can you actually update the title of the stream to something that's a bit more, hey, we're building D&D stuff in Minecraft because we are nerds. So, well, I'm thinking of like general walking paths that wouldn't like crowd theoretical people. Because if we did that, because door bar minimum. Okay, we'll leave that as that for now. Right. This wants to be at least one over. because then they've got a bit more room behind them. I think as well, maybe another one out. Can I check disc? I can check disc. Just send me deals, send me deals. Oh no, wait, that's right. Oh, did you forget to observe Tudja? Alright. Okay. So, you walk in the bar, you've got that seat, you've got that seat. Then there's the bar area. We got another seat there. Yeah. Because I want to leave a clear path to the bar, but I also don't want it to be too empty. But this is also for D&D, so it kind of sort of needs to be empty-ish. We've got our solo bar, like, thingy guy who can observe people as they walk in. If I do that, that'll work out better. And then up here we can have some stairs to go to, like, one sec, let's see what trap. Oh, that is unfortunately one of the better solid ones. I like solid trapdoors. Solid trapdoors are very cool. But there's kind of not enough of them. There's just the two. And they kind of are not great. Well, it's not that they're not great, they're just not the best. Oh no, wait, we've got that one. We'll use the paylock. We'll use the paylock. That'll be alright. But right, there we go. There we go. That'll do. It's not. Okay, I kind of want these little details gone. I love these little details 99% of the time, but I currently want them gone. Right, so now for back here. Because I kind of don't want this to look stupid, but I also want it to make sense. It could just be a case of we do that. And then these are like the stuff shells. Actually. Okay, yeah. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's better. That's a lot better. I'd say because of the size of this one as well, if we have rooms here, it'll be like a 1 or 2 room kind of deal. Ooh. I'm probably going to need to move that reference at some point, but that's fine. So, you'd come in here, you'd say hi to Bob the Bouncer. Go up here, get your drink. Go here into the back. As well, I feel like these are very useful if you're only wanting to do like really thin partitions and stuff. But obviously it kind of falls a bit if you're doing anything a bit more. That can go there. Alright. Actually, wool. We'll go for orange. But yeah, we'll go for orange. This can be like our marker block for like I was really hoping that wouldn't break it. For like walls where it doesn't make sense for there to be oh, what's it? Minecraft doors. I'm really stupid with them sometimes. Right, so this will be outer wall. And then we'll have inner wall here. Also, I just really love this, like, floor effect in general. Right, does this do you have this as 1 or 2? Like, 1 or 2 wide. I feel like this needs to be 1 wide. So we'll keep that as that. And now we'll do something kind of stupid. Hi Laihihi, how are you? I'm okay. We are currently doing really smart stuff or really stupid stuff. I haven't decided yet. We're sort of building a tavern for like D&D, sort of like 2 scale, so you can like figure out like your player positions in Minecraft, because clearly I hate myself a little bit. There's a lot of like there's like a lot of empty space, and this is just the base floor plan, and we need to work inside out. And I'm also dreading if I decide I want to do a cave. Because I'm going to want to do a cave. I'm going to want to do a cave. Oh, I should build one. I should build the cave that TJ's character comes from in our current D&D session, which we'll be playing tomorrow. This is Techno. This is... You know what? That's fair, and that makes sense. That's because it's entirely because of the D&D thing. So you'll see. It'll be easier shot here. So in D&D, each character will stand in like a 5-foot cube. But to convert that into meters, aka Minecraft, it's sort of like it works out as like a 2x2 square. So I'm kind of doing that. Also, hi, Aracle? Aracle? Would people like to say hi to Aracle? It's an oracle. Also, hi, Serenity. It's a baby. Look at the baby. She has just had flea and worm recently, so she's got the little white spot on the back of her neck. Look at you, aren't you cute? She's cute? I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm still... well, I'm not still anything. I'm just a bit... it's a bit warm. I'm warm. That's a main thing. But we're currently building a Dungeons and Dragons tavern in Minecraft. I feel like I'm doing this bit wrong. One sec. TJ, can you do me a favour, please? I need TJ to do me a favour. TJ! Hi. Can you measure a stair step in centimetres, please?
Do you have a favourite in mind?
Just a stair step, please. He asked me if I have a particular favourite stair. Depth. So the bit that your foot goes on. He's giving me such a look. He's like... Oracle's also staring at him like, what are you doing with it?
24.
24. Okay, okay. This is probably far too accurate for what I actually need. But we like TJ. We do like TJ. Best mod. Legitimately best mod. No, it's exclamation mark good mod. Exclamation mark good mod. See, that's how you get a shout out in this chat. You just compliment TJ. And then you get a shout out. Pick does also do some like fun streams. So definitely worth checking them out if you want. Alright. Okay. So ooh, I'm gonna roll 3 times the funsies. Ooh. Let's see. So okay, so one of these blocks would be a meter. Right, I feel... Right, let's work from this side. So if we do that... Oh, 9. Oh, that is rough. Mind you, fair, at least not Ventral. Ventral got like 3 nat 1s in a row. So yeah, I feel like we can actually get away with like a normal stairs. So and we just need to figure out sort of like how high we'd want it. So if we go here, so that's absolute minimum. This is absolute minimum height right now. So that'd put us at a 2 meter ceiling, which is average normal door height in the UK. And then that is the height that this works out to. And then that's if we went up another step. We'll count these as steps. So every 4 stairs is a step. Does that blend well with the spruce? No. No, okay. Also, the fact that we don't have, like, what's it, stairs? What's the word? Stripped wood stairs is a crime. I would really enjoy stripped wood stairs. This would be a lot easier if we were using stone, but we're not. We'll just keep it as the spruce. We'll just have to do the maths. Right. Okay. So that is ba. Da. And that's the height. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, that's 6 blocks. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the latest we can start the stairs. Or the earliest we can start the stairs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we can move that a step back, which is good. I like that we can move that a step back. Because we want at least 1 square of space so we can, like, turn around at the top. Alright. Nice. There we go. It is a slight bit of, do we have more space up here? Or do we just keep it to that? I do think we will need to work out our exact, like, alignments for stuff before we, like, do the upper level. We'll keep that. So I'm thinking we have, that is an archway. And then we have, this is a door. So that could be like a door to outside storage and stuff. So I do feel like there needs to be a back door. Or that could be like a door to like a staff area. Which there would need to be storage. I feel like there'd also need to be a kitchen. So yeah, this would be, instead of that one, actually no, because we do want a line here. For stuff. Actually, we'll do this as another archway. So I feel like that'd make sense, because if you've got like 5 things of stew, you don't really want to be messing with doors. Like, obviously, there'd be the kind of doors that, like, just swing. But you wouldn't necessarily want that. I feel like we don't necessarily need this to be as long as this. And we could also include a door to the outside of this as well. Because we don't want this necessarily too shotgun like housey, which it's kind of feeling like with the current door layout. Right, I think one more thing there. Let's see. So you go here, you go at the bar, you do your bar stuff. You go up here, you have a kit for the night. It's probably going to be an idea to add some kind of like fake loo. That's like at the very least attached. Oh. We'll have this be a 4B. Oh yeah, the merch! The merch! But yeah, if you have any interest in YB2095 merch, you should fill in that form and tell me what you'd like, because I love to know what people want. Like, I've got a few ideas, and obviously I want to like make it affordable for people and everything. But yeah. Oh, welcome in, son! Ooh. How are you doing? Right, we'll do... Does it matter if they don't line up fully when it's like a transition between rooms? I feel like it doesn't fully matter. Doing great, just off some jollof rice and chicken. Very nice. Because this way as well, we can make the footprint a little more interesting. It doesn't necessarily need to be interesting for what it is. But think it'll be worth it. So we'll put doors here for Lou. As well, where we've got transitions like this, we'll just put like planks or something, I think. But obviously where walls are, walls will be. But yeah, like bits like this bit, we'll put like either the most neutral or like a planky block. And that'll be a wall. In fact, we could have left that thingy and then done that with this. Alright, where do we put? Door. I'd say maybe door here. So that can be like door into storage. This can be like immediate storage area. And then it can be maybe kitchen. And I have another storage down here. And this would go in. Oh. And that'd go further down, and then you'd have like a drinks basement kind of thing, like a cool storage, and then this area be entirely the kitchen. And then this area possibly being like a big half for like cooking and stuff. Maybe not. Where would things make sense? Where would things make sense? Obviously you've got the bar, loo, upstairs rooms, kitchen storage. Quite an interesting footprint, I think. Okay, now that needs to be the transition blocks. Give me a second. I'll run an ad now because I'm just gonna pop to the loo. And then when I come back, should be fine. Wait. Oh. Is that a dancing Nessie? Do 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 do. Oh. All right. She back! She back! And there's a dancing Nessie in chat. We love them. We love Nessie. Nessie's the best. See, as well, I don't want to lean into too Western. Because I'm worried that I'm going to end up leaning Western. Because I'm kind of thinking a balcony. But I also feel like a balcony is entirely unnecessary. She squawk! She squawk! Squawk! Alright, let's do this. One sec. Bed. We'll use the red. How do you spell the noise birds make? Depends entirely on the bird. If it's an owl, it's hoot. Oh, it's squawk. What? How do I squawk? That's how I spell it. It's well. No, S-Q-U-A. Squawk. This is where I tell chat that I have a formal dyslexia diagnosis from when I was a kid. Okay. Squawk. S-Q-U-A-W-K. That's how it's spelled. It's no C. No C. There's a W instead of a C. Squawk. Squawk. Yeah. But yeah, I have a dyslexia diagnosis from when I was a kid. So I'm maybe not the best person to ask to spell stuff. I understand what you name and what you mean when you say that. It's one of those things that kind of just looks wrong. One sec, let me... just very quickly do this. No, it's made out of wool! It's just... I needed marker blocks. It is sustainable. It's renewable as well. Right, so... so this is the minimum. This is the minimum. That's the minimum. Okay. That's the minimum. Okay, we're doing doors 2 by 2. So... one sec. This is absolute minimum. So this is like your 2 coppers a night room. That reminds me as well, I want to run a campaign where we are proper like rigorous with material watching, but I also feel like I would get so annoyed at that. There you go. So that's 2 absolute minimum rooms. I mean, that leaves us with 2. Okay, I think... I think I've got my idea. I need to redo this, but I think I've got the idea. And then do that. And then do that. And then do that. No, that would want to be that. And then that. So that's putting it 2 rooms. I feel like 2 rooms isn't enough. Do that. And then that leaves 3. And so we did that. And then we've got 1, 2. 1, 2. Yes, that'd be fine. It also throw things off slightly, and I know we said we don't need to be precious about it, but I'm getting kind of precious about it. Right. Okay, so that could theoretically be 1 room. Right. Floor plans are hard when you don't have like a large, well, not a large, when you're not working on the actual floor. So I'm thinking first room, upstairs bathroom with like toilet and then bath. So I'm also trying to think of like public bathrooms that you'll get in like hostels and stuff. And like making things not realistic, but not realistic. And then that's that. And that'd leave. What do we do here? I think we'll just elongate that one just for the looks. Oh, we could do the transition. We'll do the transition block, and then it's all sorted. Yeah, because we'll do that. And then we've got that. Nice. I'm actually really enjoying this floor plan. It's kind of wacky and kind of stupid, but it's nice because I want it realistic in that, like, the average D&D party could be in it, could like stay here. I'll do that. We'll do that. And we'll have this as a nice big room. Ooh. Okay, that's very slightly buggy. We'll pop them there. We'll pop them there. I think as well, we can pop that there and that there, and then we can do a like outside staircase that'd take you like straight up to the room, so you don't need to go in through the bar. I'm really liking this. Right. One sec, how tall did we do this again? We did this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. So we'll do that here, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One, 2, 3. Does it have like a bunk bedroom? Which I think is not necessarily nice, but it'd be something that'd be useful in Dungeons and Dragons situations. And then if you get do we use barrels? We'll use barrels because I think that'll work. That's not too crowded, is it? Because 2, 4. Well, technically, I'm counting these double beds as one bed. But also, I'm like, this is theoretically that Calyx hack for double beds, or for bunk beds, where you can like walk up the calyxes. Yeah, we'll leave that as that. And then that'll still give us like loads of room for like any kind of ceiling decorations and stuff. And then these can just be normal side tables. So yeah. Okay, I'm liking this. I'm liking this. And we've got our door out here. I'm gonna do that. That's 1 block, 2 block. And that, no, that just kick it right out at the front, so that's fine, I think. How do I need to get my... I nearly got my nail caught in my keys. Oh my god. I feel like we don't necessarily need to take it this high. We don't need to do deals yet. We need to figure bits out. Well, actually, walls would probably be an idea. I don't know if I have Axiom in this pack. I don't think I do. But also I have a love-hate relationship with Axiom, and I think it's entirely because of how I do my keybinds. But yeah, that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That'd be like, this would be like a 6-party hotel. This is quite cute. I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying this. Right, and then we've got them in. can take them out. Oh. Also, oh. So many beds. Technically, this is that's only gonna like sleep 6 people, which is a decent sized party actually. But it's a case of 1 double bed equals 1 actual bed, because I want my skill stuff to be right. The honeycomb not being called beeswax kind of does my nut in, and it's stupid. One sec, we need the jaws. No, we'll stick with these. We'll stick with the spruce. There you go. This can stay really awkwardly, and I don't like it, but it can stay. It can stay. Yeah, I'm really liking this so far. So you've got your nice bar where you can eat drinks and you can order your food. One sec, that needs that instead. Yeah, missing walls. So many missing walls. I kind of want to make the walls double thick, but I feel like that'd just be like massively overkill. Someone tell me making the walls double thick would be massively overkill. Because it objectively speaking would be, but then we'd be able to have like bright orange wallpaper and like normal spruce wood, normal like wood wall block outside. Wait, you don't think what rotates? Is it the planks? Is it this? Yeah, I put this here as like a filler block because the squares are offset slightly, which is another reason to do double thick walls. But I would need to entirely rebuild it, and I don't know if I want to do that. So I don't think I necessarily should do that. But also, we can go pretty wild on what we want to do on the outside. Because we wanted to do the inside first. Should we put on these outside things? Is there any point in doing it double thick? Is there any point in doing it double thick? I don't think there is, but I really like the idea of doing it double thick so I can then have different things in different places, or different like wall colors in different places. But I think it's also entirely unnecessary to do that. But I also think it'd be really cool. Do. I'm not a fan of double thick walls because they make windows weird. This is true. They do make windows weird. Right. We'll just start. We'll start doing like the outer walls. We should maybe come up with a palette. We can maybe come up with a palette. Or in those ones. TJ. You're very funny and I love you. But why? Oh my god. Hey now, you're an all-star. That's going in the quote channel. I appreciate you for being funny, TJ. Wabbit broke. Wabbit did be broke. And in fact, I don't know if you mean Wabbit broke as in my stream kind of broke or what, but yeah. Right. We've got what I'm going. No, Wabbit broke. Is Wabbit still broke? I shouldn't be. It's because I took a screenshot of chat. Because I thought what TJ said was really funny, even though it did make me roll my eyes. Not the stream. Okay, good. Good it's not the stream. Human broken. Yeah, human broken. Let's work out a palette. I'm leaning towards brick. Okay, well we don't want infested. And that's gonna be too dark. But we will get that in. Well, I love Mossy block, but it's kind of a flavor block. Okay, that is a basement block if I've ever seen one. Huskies are the best doggos. Change my mind. You know what? I'm not going to try to change your minds because I agree. Huskies are peak dogs. Okay, we'll go at least 3. Now, at least we don't need to think so much about the D&D aspect of it, and we can just Minecraft it. I'm kind of tempted to do like it to like step out a bit and sort of be a bit Tudory, but I don't know if that necessarily like not fit but I feel like it'd add a bit much in like not wasted space, but in space that doesn't fit the typical like grid system that we've done. We will fill them in for now, but we might change them. I don't know. I do really wish there was like a wallpaper block we could do that wouldn't like absolutely destroy like your PC and stuff. Because it'd just be entity on entity on entity. Because like you can do it with maps, but that's maps, item prims, and it's a lot. It's a lot. Hi, Urkel. Alright, we'll do one more. Because if we make it the one taller, we can then do detailing on this one. Because we could do Tudory-ish. And there are ways to like sort of detail it a bit with banners. Actually, for this, that'd work quite well if you want to go Tudory. As well, we could thingy it with like the regular diorite. But the regular diorite is very like mucky in comparison. do that. Oh no, wait, we can't do that because of that. I think it would work if we moved the stairs out, but I don't think we necessarily need or want to move the stairs out. Yes, okay, yeah. So, main part of the building, so that'd probably be up to here. We'll have the diorite start here. But there'll be a roof thing that goes up here, I think. Oh, you want that? So yeah, we'll have diorite up to there like that. And then there'll be roofs that go on these bits. I think we don't necessarily need this there to be the full 6. But we might as well. We might squish it down a bit with the roof. In fact, we probably will squish it down with the roof a bit. So, work it out from this side, because this is where the bunk beds are. So, we have it to that. So, if the roof starts there. Because then it won't be, like, ridiculously insanely tall. Which, I think... I don't mind a ridiculously insanely tall building, but I think for a relatively basic sort of like tavern inn situation, you don't want it too grand unless you are going for like proper grand buildings. I mean, we will be adding like chandeliers and stuff in here. Just to like make sure we get the lighting in and we get the like the classic like torchy looks. Also I think this top line of brick we might swap in to be brick stairs. Okay, the fans getting on my eyes again. All right, let's. Right, 1 sec. Swap. That. Have that, and then shelf. We go for the dark oak. Okay, so that'd be that. What do we think of that? What do we think of that? I quite like this, but I'm also not entirely sure how I feel about it. Because as well, logically we'd need to take that round. That kind of wouldn't work. So we could do that. Oh, 1 sec. Because this is bathroom stuff, isn't it? Right. Wall. Go for granite. Cauldron. Oh. Because this bit would be underground. Hi, Big! Okay, I have an idea in my head. I don't necessarily know if it's working. But what I'm thinking is we have some kind of like water tank on the roof. However the roof turns out, we have some kind of water tank on the roof. And we have like the logic piping. Like obviously, you know, magic. But the okay, all right, okay, one sec. Right, we're gonna talk a D&D concept, and I'm gonna replay it, so I have it for reference, because I feel like this is a really good idea. Okay, so a D&D world where it's where technology, so plumbing and all that, is relatively advanced to the point that you don't need to be so that it's very common. It's like super duper insanely common. But also the rich folks have a lot of access to magic, and it becomes a social thing where when you're rich, you don't have indoor plumbing. You have magic. You have a little crystal on your toilet. You go pee, you go poo, you press the crystal, boop, it disappeared. You don't need to heat your house with like fire and like gas, like typical. You don't need like typical fuel. I'll just cast a spell. It's fine. Just cast a spell. And it can either be like the innate magic or wizard magic. In this world, I'd probably lean to sorcerers being rare. But I think this is a good idea, and I think this is something I should write down and that I should flesh out. And as well, I think this is something that could fit with this world. Like when I'm building the buildings for like the average Joe, we keep it relatively like grounded in reality. Whereas when I build like big fancy buildings, we're like, who needs to think about plumbing? I have a magic crystal that steals my poop. And so I don't know why when I was talking about this, I specifically focused on the poop aspect, the toilet aspect. I think it's because I was doing the plumbing. But yeah. Oh, I need to do so much more D&D stuff. I love D&D so much. I have a magic crystals that steal my poop. You know what? Actually, that is basically cats with the silica cat litter. Because silica cat litter, is it silica cat litter? is crystal cat litter that you can get. I don't like it because I find it really hard to actually gauge when it needs like changing because it just confuses me. I don't like it. But yeah, it's it's an idea. Oh, one sec. What about double of them?
This is a lie.
Ah!
Oh my gosh, Raid! Welcome, Raiders!
It's a Raven Raid! Hello! How do we be doing? You've just missed me talking about magic crystals and poop. Thank you so much for the raid. Let's see who's popped in and said hi. I was actually lurking. But thank you so much for the raid. Hello Slime, hello Physics Gym, hello Sunraven, hello Happy Stone, hello Sunraven, hello Sunraven, hello Sunraven, hello Sunraven. But yeah, welcome in. You had us at magic crystals and poop. Yeah. I'm glad I had you at magic crystals and poop. Basically, I decided I wanted to build I want to build a D&D world to somewhat scale and be easy to show you here. So, if you do know D&D, you know that you stand in like a 5-foot square thing, and that's like your place block. So I was like, we'll work that out in Minecraft. In Minecraft, that's about 4x4 square, or 2x2 square. You could make it bigger, you could make it smaller. It's all about scale. But I decided we'll do this. We'll work out the scale. So I've worked out my scale. We've been building this little tavern. It's like, this is where you'd start, because objectively speaking, every D&D game has a very high probability of starting in a tavern. So we've built a tavern. You've got your nice door that you walk in. You've got the little spot where the bouncer sits. You've got a couple of tables. You've got no lights currently. Your bar, so you get all your drinks here. You've got your bathroom, which is I think that's why we're on the poop crystals. I think that's why we're on the magic poop crystals. You got your kitchen. You've got your super secret basement where you store all your booze. And then you've got a couple of rooms upstairs and an upstairs bathroom in that. But yeah, I was in the middle of like working out something to go here. Like I'd be like, okay, we'll ground this a bit in reality. The bathrooms are here. We need something to get around that awkward corner for detailing. And then I was hit with the idea of, what if only the average people in a D&D world relied on like technology and inventions from like basic plumbing and stuff, and what if like the rich people are like reliant on magic? And then I decided that the rich people just have a magic crystal on the toilet that they just press and just whoop, just disappears the poop away. And then I started talking about cat litter because I don't like the crystal cat litter. But yes, thank you again so much for the raid, Raven, and I hope you enjoy. The beans are dead? Oh, energy. I'm assuming you mean energy beans. I'm assuming you mean energy beans. But yes, thank you so much, Raven, for the raid. We'd love to see it. And if anyone else needs to raid and run and not listen to me talk about magic poop crystals, I understand. I understand. But yeah, this is also me doing a bit of like trying to improve on my building. So if anyone wants to backseat a little bit, as long as you're not a little so-and-so about it, that's all right. Right, we'll get that, because I want to see how that'd look. If we do double, it adds a bit more dimension, but I don't know if it's like in a sucky way. Because it might be in a sucky way. And we're gonna have Windows to break that stuff up. And that's gonna be the lowest window it'd be. I feel like I'm getting too lost in the details. And we're still kind of at the, not the macro stage of the build. But one of the larger bits. Larger bits? Jungle. That's kind of hay. So we'll use jungle. I want that as well. Alright, one. But we want it lower. We might want it lower. This might be kind of awkward because obviously these are going out at much different things. One sec. Okay, no, that might be all right. Actually, we'll leave that there for now. Okay. Oh, I don't know if this is gonna work as well as I would like, but we shall see. Okay. Oh. Okay, not terrible. Not entirely sure it's how I want. Oh, I hate roofs. I absolutely hate roofs. They suck. Actually. Fire. This will cover all of our sins, won't it? Then we want Jolt. We should really add the thingy resource pack. Okay, that doesn't look terrible. Does this look terrible, chat? I'd say needs tweaking, but it's a good start. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with needs tweaking, but we've got a good start. Do. I'm going to... Should I get rid of that line or should I keep that line? We'll get rid of this line, but we'll keep those stairs there. On the off chance that we need them. Do that. I like a good overhang. I feel like this bit's too flat. I would just want you to be a little corner piece. Probably that's gonna be the best way. Oh. Weird mouth. Weird mouth. Okay, what's that? That's a full one. Oh my god, Gigi, you haven't done the shopping! Oh no, wait, it's fine. It's... yeah, okay, yeah. Shopping doesn't actually need doing until Saturday night, but we are busy Saturday. Oh
my gosh, Reed! Welcome,
It's a Fuzzball, Reed! Welcome in, Fuzz! How are you doing? How is Stream? Let's say hi to everyone. Hello. Choking on saliva there. Hello, Timmy. Hello. Ooh, why is it not scrolling? Why is it not scrolling? There we go. Hello, Timmy. Hello, Funk Knight. Funk Knight. Hello, Freak Knight. Hello, Fuzzball. Hello, Amy. Hello, Fuzzball. Hello, Sly. Hello, Timmy. Hello, Benji. Hello, Aziz. Az. Oh, hello, Ellie! Hello! How are we doing? Did you have good stream? Did you have fun with Fuzz? At the moment, we are just in the middle of doing a Dungeons and Dragons inspired build Funky Night. Yes. We managed to finish our game, which was a little treat. That's very nice. Oh, yeah, exactly. Can't not have fun with Fuzz. Fuzz is great. We love Fuzz. We met Fuzz in, well, we stood within 5 feet of Fuzz at DreamHack, and then we probably met Fuzz at, One Shot and, Manchester Meetup, and it's fun. It's alright. It happens to the best of us. It happens to the best of us. But... where is it? Oh, I'm clicking too many things and not enough things. Where is it? We have this.
That's not PG.
DreamHack was wild. I think I spoke to so many people at DreamHack, but it was just so busy and there's so many people. And it was so overwhelming. Like, it was a 3-day event. It was the best. It met loads of people. But oh my god, that was a trial by fire for a first creator event. But yeah, I think for your lot for us at DreamHack, it was basically a hi and then disappearing. It was so busy. I'm so glad we actually had chance to like chat at like One Shot and Manchester meetup. As it was, I wasn't even planning on going originally. No, I was planning on going as Molly's +1, and being like, I'm just gonna help with camera and stuff, and I'm just gonna be nice. I'm gonna be chill. I'm just gonna. I'm just going to be Wabbit assistant. And then Molly was like, apply for a creator. And I was like, okay, I'm probably not going to get it. And then I got it. And then I was like, okay, that's cool. And then I got business cards and... Well, I didn't get stickers that time. I just got business cards. But now I've got the sticker bug. And I have many sticker plans. I want to get this sticker... which is what I was giving out with the Manny meetup as an emote, and it's so fun. But yeah, thank you again so much for the raid fuzz. We love it. But yeah, at the moment we're trying to figure out roofs. I don't like roofs in Minecraft. They're very difficult and they make me cry inside. So I don't know what we're gonna do. I need to get a sticker book as well, because I have so many stickers. Roofs are so hard. Quite often when I used to play on PlayStation with TJ, I'd let them do the roofs. The roofs got done, but I didn't have to do them. But yeah, I need a sticker book. I've got so many. Well, actually, one thing I wanted to do is I've got a lot of sticks from a lot of fandom that are like really, really cool and really, really pretty, kind of like this sort of thing, that are a little bigger. And I found these like glass frames that you can put stuff in, and I was so tempted to get them, but I didn't. And I need to do it, and then I need to find places to put all my stickers. Because there's so many, and I have decision paralysis on where to put them, which is great. But yeah, thank you so much for the raid fuzz. And if you need a raid and run, that's all right. It's fine. Don't worry. I will just cry inside. But if you've been streaming for a while, and if anyone else in the Fuzzball crew needs to dip, go for it. Have good naps. I don't know how much longer we'll be going for. Probably a little bit, because I'm a little bit in the sauce of this build. But yeah, because I'm having a lot of fun with this, because we're trying to... We had another raid pig! Yeah! Wabbit's cool. Trust. Maybe having a little lake. I've had food yet. Oops. That reminds me, TJ says I need to get a snack, redeem, because there's been a few times, like particularly on a Sunday, where like I've like had a small snack for breakfast and then I've started streaming at lunchtime and I've not had lunch, and then I got get slightly shouted at. Twitch is not even loading. You hear the audio through your PC on your phone. Yeah, sometimes it's slow. Sometimes it's really slow. Like, I worry that I sometimes have like a 30-second delay or something, but I'm not sure I do. Because sometimes people react really quickly to what I say, and then sometimes it's like, it's kind of slow. But I know typing takes time. Because I've done that where I'll be like, okay, I'm going to reply to this thing, and I'm typing for ages, and then we're away. Yeah. Oh, you hear me twice? How are you hearing me twice? Do you have me on your phone and on your PC? What about with an echo? And I gave TJ Jip for the operating system joke. Hi Magic, how you doing? Have you had a good Friday? I am just as bad as you. I really am. Oh, you've been in and out of sleep. Oh no! Has it been because it's a day off and you're just vegging, or has it been like you're not very well? Oh, you're just tired. Okay, yeah. Yeah, as well, when you have bloods done, it entirely depends on how many bloods you get taken. You're absolutely wiped afterwards. Usually when I have my bloods done, I get like a Burger King or something, because I'm like, iron, totally, yeah. It's definitely not just an excuse to get a Burger King. Oh my god, I could go for a Burger King right now. I don't have Burger King money. I had 3 vials and the person did it totally. Oh, that's the worst as well. Like when you have a couple of like bad jabs, it's worse. I think my limit of number of stabs it's taken for them to get blood out of me has been 6. I think it was 6. And I don't think it was for many tubes. However, my limit of tubes of blood that has had to be taken has been 24. 24 has been the most I've had taken in one go. I don't know exactly how much that's amounted to. I guess no more than 250 mils. That's a lot. I know I'm done with you normal in 2 visits, 2 vials. Yeah, it's not too bad when it's 2 vials. Yeah, 24 vials. 24 vials. Most vials I've had taken is 10 and it killed me. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 24 vials. At once. Or it's either at once or within the space of like 2 or 3 hours. Oh no. 90, to be fair, 90 minutes sounds about right. Because usually sometimes when I have some bloods taken, I'll have the bloods taken. I'll go to the Burger King, which is like 5-minute drive from the bloods place, and then I'll have my burger, and I'll probably be sat there about an hour before I drive home. But yeah, if you've had bloods taken, always have a high like protein meal and stuff and all that. I need my LFTs done at least every 6 weeks at the moment. That is frequent. 6 weeks is a lot. Like, when you're at school, 6 weeks feels forever. But as soon as you're like out of school, it's like, oh, that's like a month and a half. That's not long at all. And then again, as you get older, time seems to grow shorter. And it just moves so much quicker because of that stupid like percentage of your life thing that it is. Yeah, it sucks. I want to be a kid and feel like I have forever. This being adult stuff is overrated. I don't like it. Alright. Roofs! Roofs! I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. This is difficult. Okay, secondary idea. I think I'll keep that there. I have that there. We'll use the spruce. So, welcome in, black flames? Black? Why? Why? Oh my god, that is an amazing GIF. Did I spot it earlier? I completely skipped over the GIF of the emote. That is so cute. Huh? I love emotes. Emotes are the best. I love the little people emotes, but unfortunately I feel like they don't fit my branding. So I don't have any. The closest I have is the cats. But yeah, welcome in, Black Flames. And also, apologies for horrifically butchering your name earlier. Right. Alright, I've got an idea. I'm not entirely sure if it's actually going to work. But it does solve the problem of certain things, I feel. It solves some problem. What that problem is exactly, I'm not entirely sure. But also the fact that we don't have like a horizontal stair does me annoying. One sec. Yeah, if we do that, you don't need to do that there. You get a barrel. And then we go for wall. Okay, I think either go polished deep slate or a fence. Probably dark oak fence. Oh, hello, Deimos. Welcome in. How you doing? And congratulations on getting your bunny hops in. Yeah, I like that shape. Tired, glad you're back in bed. Honestly, mood. Oh. Get that. Oh, they don't attach to walls. Oh, that is annoying. I know why this is a thing, but that is so annoying. So it attaches to them vertically, but it doesn't attach them horizontally, which is fine. It's fine. Slab. Actually, because I want that to connect. This is it's something that I'm being Chewy over. Chewy over. Oh my god. Okay, go in the right place. And this is like one of those small, tiny details that, in the grand scheme of things, doesn't really matter. But fence gets use dark oak. Right. Actually, rotate these. Sorry, I'm not really explaining what I'm doing right now. So I'm making like a mock ladder. Actually, that's a better distance one. So we could probably just use an actual ladder. And then we want slabs. I like using polished deep slate as like a kind of a raw iron kind of looking block. Okay, they need to be full blocks. Oh yes, I love that. I love that. And then we get that. And then when we do this roof, we can probably put a water thing there. And then you've got your two. Yes! I'm happy now. I'm happy now. Do we like this as it is? I think we like this as it is. I feel like that's a really good way to deal with annoying roofs. Just put something that would logically be on a roof on the roof and have some fun with it. No. This bit is objectively a little bit too flat. I think we could probably do that. Yeah, that looks a bit better. One sec, how does that mesh with that? That meshes alright with that. Oh. We will have to deal with those awkward bits on the walls. Well, that's fine. We can ignore that. It's alright. That probably wants to be there. Yeah, to be fair, actually, if we do the sort of like the lining bits, that'll be fine. Yeah, we keep that. Alright, that. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that roof. And I'm very happy I decided to do that. I feel like that was a very smart move. And then we can have like a bigger water tank on this side. And then this is just a very basic roof. Because as well, it can apply that this is all clean water that's going thingy, and then this is all going down, going thingy. This is clean water that's being used. However, I do think it implies that water pressure up here will be absolutely horrific. So I want them. I want them. Right, that is objectively the middle. I don't think for this one we want any, like, overhang. Right, so how... That one's 1, 2, 3 tall, so that'd be... That'd objectively be that. And that. Okay, I feel like this needs to be the middle block. And that'd be another 2. I feel like to a degree it doesn't make sense for a a very small tavern to have this much water, but who knows what's in the basement? Who knows? It's definitely not demons. In fact, it probably is demons. Average D&D experience. Oh, it's demons. We'll try an alternate one. From here. Okay. Click in place. There we go. There we go. Okay, yeah, that is a lot better. This makes a bit more sense.
This is a lie.
Ah!
Oh my gosh, Reed! Welcome, readers.
That's 3 minutes today. Thank you, Man Mountain Designs. Howdy. Welcome to the chat. And let's say hi to everyone. Hi, Man Mountain Designs. Hi, Sega Mega Devs. And hi, Man Mountain Designs. How are you doing? Did you have a good stream? What were you up to? We, at the moment, are just building a tavern for a D&D project I want to try and put together in Minecraft. What? But yeah, so I entirely remember we were both at the MCR meetup, but you were hanging with people I know, but I never said to Leo, say hello! Hello! Hi! Who was it you were hanging around with? Because I was kind of bouncing. I was kind of bouncing around. But yeah, I'm Wabbit Bunny. I always forget to introduce myself. I ask about who raids, but I've always forget to introduce myself. So I'm a PG Minecraft girly. So keep the swear words in your pocket. But yeah, so I'm mostly playing Penguin. So pretty sure you know Atomic and Penguins. I know Penguins. I was chatting Penguins, and I'm pretty sure I know Atomic. But I only just met them at the event. So it was just the chat, just the little MC chatting. But yeah, I was chatting to everyone. Hi Tig, how you doing? Welcome to chat. But yeah, we are currently just putting together a tavern for D&D that is like 2 scale for D&D as well. Oh, you know Tig 2 from MCR. Nice. I'm trying to think. I've gotten loads of business cards, but I know for. Oh, what have I done to my sensitivity? There we go. Oh, the guy with the dog! I pet your dog! Yeah! Oh, the dog was so cute. I was just sat, and I just looked over my shoulder, and then there was just a husky, and I was like, huh? Huh? Yes, I think I saw you. Oh, I will have seen you at some point. I'm trying to run through my head. There was so many people there. It was so loud. He loves attention. Honestly, as he should. And you know what? He should get all the attention as well. Right. Do these. He does. Oh, that's good. That's good. Probably like both my cats. Both my cats are attention hogs as well. They like to get all the fusses. We go to bed and like, oh, it's fuss time now. Great. Pulling except Nancy up heats because I'm anxious enough to just talk to people I don't know. Honestly, same. It wasn't until people I already knew were there that I felt confident in like just going up to people and saying hi. Cause first hour or so I was there, I kind of just floated around and walked around awkwardly. And then there was people who all arrived at the same time that were all people I knew. So I went from awkwardly talking to the odd person, handing out stickers and business cards, to all my friends coming in at once and me being like, hi! I met so many cool people at the meetup. It was so good. It was so good. I really enjoyed it. I have no idea if I'm going to be able to make the next Manchester meetup because I think it's rumored to be in December time. But whether or not I can make it and it depends entirely on how my December goes. Is it Rod? It is Rod. Actually, we'll get that. Oh, hi, Lucky! Just here's your lick for right now. Good to see you. You too. Ooh, right. Yeah. Does that make sense? Or should we take that? It's like, where does... Okay, we don't have one that comes off here, but we could infer that the stuff that goes on behind, so that's fine. I was certainly next to the wall, but it does depend on how it is. Yeah, same. As well, for me, December tends to be absolutely balmy. It tends to be so busy that I can't even have, like, a chill weekend. Especially close to Christmas and the anarchy that comes with traffic and such. Honestly, yeah. That sounds about right. Right, do we want to do the white walls inside? I feel like we need to do the white walls inside. Even though I don't necessarily know how we feel about them. But it makes enough sense that we should do that. Oh. I really like this build. It's like nowhere near complete. And it'd need like texturing and stuff. And quite frankly, I need to download Likematica, copy this build, and put it in a different world that's like got a deeper thing. Okay, so that's that sorted. Because I would like to do basement. But I kind of don't know how thingy to do it. I might do the world really deeply, so then we've got like quite a bit to work with if we want to do a cave system for the like what's it? Words. Oh, what my words am I trying to say? For like a D&D place. I think that's what I was trying to say. D&D dungeon. Yes, dungeon. Dungeon. Yeah, what about get ooh, it's 11 o'clock. Right. Okay. I really like this. And you know what? I can see where I'm getting inspiration from. Even though when I've been building it, I haven't been particularly like, I'm going to build something like this person. Like, it's nowhere near as good as the person who I think I'm imitating slightly. But I can see where my mind is coming from when I'm putting things together. It does look rustic. That's kind of what I want, because this is like your starter tavern in D&D. So like how every near enough every Dungeons and Dragons campaign starts in a tavern. That's kind of what this is going for. So it's like that very rustic, classic fantasy vibe. Right, we'll stick with jungle for the roof because I feel like it's fine. It's fine. Right, let's thingy this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 7. Okay, despite building our floor very evenly, we've somehow got odd numbers, which I'm okay with, because that does make things easier. I kind of didn't expect that to connect. Well, that's all right. Okay. I don't know if we'd take that all the way across. I kind of don't want it to be too high. I'm thinking yeah, we go we follow like this kind of setup. All right, so double. Oh no, wait, that was, I'm daft. I'm doing it wrong already. Because of the angle. Oh, I really want, like, strip stairs. Yes, I said that earlier. If we, objectively speaking, we need it. I think as well with the addition of wall stairs, it'd be really, really good. But yeah, we're getting a lot of nice building stuff recently, which I'm very happy about. I feel like this needs to be a slab. Yeah. Yeah, the texturing is so good. It, as well, sometimes you just want a much smoother look. And the thing does that. At least break up the plank lines. Yes, break up the plank lines, 100%. Like, as well, I'd like it in slab form as well. But honestly, I would just take the stairs. I'd take the stairs. We'll do that. Oh wait, can I share links? You can send them as a whisper to either myself or a Wild Touch, who is lead mod. But I don't think I have it enabled so you can share links. I just remember this picture of me on the Insta from the meetup. Is there? Okay, one sec. Can I actually get that off? I don't think I have Instagram logged into my computer. Okay, I now have Instagram logged in on my computer. That's alright. That's better. I love Critical Role so much. Alright, where? Manchester meetup. Is it in... One sec. First, let's see if we can find... Or is it in the, docks? Okay. I go... Ah, you've whispered it. Okay, good. Good. Okay, yeah, I remember your shirt. Honestly, I'm also really bad at multitasking. Well, Sometimes it can be great at multitasking. Sometimes not so much. Drop your cheeky follow on Insta. Yeah, that's cool background stuff you've got as well. Right. I think what we'll do, we'll finish this roof and then we'll see about raiding out. As well, I kind of don't know if I want to sort of like block this bit in a bit. Which I might do. Which will be annoying for the underside of these. Especially considering we can't put slabs together. I feel like we should be able to put slabs together. I will die on that hill. We can do it in... oh, what is it called? Framed blocks. So I feel like we should be able to do it in normal Minecraft as well. I'm really enjoying this build. This build is so fun. I also think, one thing I've noticed that I really enjoy when it comes to building in Minecraft, I like the concept builds and the silly builds. And I also like the serious, we're building this cool thing because it's super cool. But I also really like the cringe. I really like the cringy aspects of building in Minecraft. I think that we'll leave that there. Oh, that's gonna be a thing, joining that to that. I guess we'll have to see how it goes. Might not be too bad. I think that'd be alright. I feel like this is a lot. This is a lot. I definitely want to put something here above where the kitchen is to sort of break it up a bit. Probably something that could act as a vent, I think. I don't think he ever said what he got up to on stream. I was playing game where you picked up. Oh, I've seen that! I've seen that on TikTok. It looks so ridiculous and so fun. So chill, costs £3. That's not bad. I like the really chill, really cheap games. They're so much fun. As well, they're usually at least as fun as the AAAs and stuff. So I need to get a gamma slider so I could go full bright. Because I don't have that in this mod pack. I'm having more thoughts. Which might be dangerous, but we'll see. Right here. Get polished, deep slit. Do that. One sec, that can. Okay, this is why. Oh, what is it? This is why. Thingy. Axiom has the spectator thing. Polished. Get that. Put that there, so we've got that. I would like this to stay like this, but I don't know if it actually will. Is that gonna... Actually, no, that looks... Okay. Okay, that'll be fine. Right. Right, and then we get a water bucket. Sorry, I've gotten well and truly lost in the sauce, and I quite frankly need to wind down and go to bed. Right. Oh. Andy. Yeah, Andy. Hi, Adam. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, wait, that goes there. Oh, is there something? Oh, right. 1 sec. If I get a sponge. So if I do that. Oh, that's because there's not. Oh, that's why. That's why. The Minecraft be good. The Minecraft be good. We be sciencing. We be sciencing. 1 second. If I do that. Okay, no. I want to add this little detail. But it's not really adding well. Oh, okay, that's kind of too much. I might add in a little bit where it's not gonna flow. So we'll leave that. If we could get the water not to flow, that'd be great. But short of barrier blocks, I'm not sure it's gonna work. Alright, we need to do all the outer trim of that, and then I think I'll be able to squeeze an attic in as well, which will be really good. Is that viewable? It's viewable from that side, so we need that. Oh, thank you for getting your check-in, Adam. Right. That. And that. And then that. I don't know why I'm doing the underside. Ooh. We're not really at the point where we should be doing the underside. Because we need to decide if we actually like this roof. To be fair, I think I do. Yeah. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say I like the roof. I'm just gonna do that. Right, no, okay, that really needs the little bits. Okay, no, that's because I did that. Alright. I think without getting really into some of the nitty-gritty details, that might be done. Okay, why did that? Oh, I didn't like what that did. This should be fair. And then the cauldron. Because that is the floor. Right. I think this is as done as we can get it tonight without going till 1 o'clock, which I've got work in the morning, and then I've got D&D, and D&D's gonna run late. So I need to call it. Let's switch over to here and switch over to that. It is a big day. It is a big day tomorrow. I also need to hoover and do other stuff. Right. There's the raid messages. Just while I find someone to send y'all to. So we've got 2 for if you're not following me. So with the Twitch emotes and with the Unicode as well. 1 for if you are following me with the little raid signs and the cats, and then 1 for if you follow me and are subscribed, which is the one with the animated emote and all that. Right. Okay, let's have a look. Where shall I see about sending you? Right, I'm gonna see if I can send you over here. Maybe not that one. It depends how we feel about law. We'll send you over here. We shall send you over to Linuxulator. They're currently playing MCC fishing. Do the raid messages again. So again, you've got a couple of options for the raid messages. One for if you served with all emotes. One for if you're following with some emotes. And then 2 if you're not following or subscribed or just like them. That's also a thing. Right. Okay. Next, I'll be live on Sunday. And if you want to check out all my socials, there is my card. It's also linked in the description down below. I'll be live on Sunday about 1 PM UK time. And thank you so much for joining me today. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye. Where's my button? There's my button.